anytime you see the word real used in the context of a financial discussion, that means we have to adjust for inflation, or we already have made the adjustment for inflation. So if someone says that they have gains of 7%, but inflation was 10%, you actually have a real rate of return of negative 3%, 7% minus inflation. So the same thing is true when we're looking at GDP numbers like we are on this chart. Here, the real GDP growth figure is now 5.1%. And that's a really important number, or I should say, an important distinction. So in a previous video, I talked about inflation and why we thought the numbers were going to be lower for longer. But in the context of GDP, gross domestic product, basically the output of our country, out of our economy, has significantly increased on a forward-looking basis. So back in January, the thought was that GDP would essentially be flat in terms of just keeping up with inflation. But what we've seen throughout the year is that the economy has proven to be a lot more resilient than people expected. And despite higher rates, we've seen that real GDP forecasts have gone up. Now, I say this is important in a real context because inflation hasn't gone down to zero. So what we're seeing here is not that inflation is, growth has been muted, but inflation's gone negative. What we're seeing here is that the economy is very, very strong right now, despite a lot of thoughts to the contrary. So I wanted to bring this up here because, again, as it says in this chart, reinvigorated growth expectations are the likely culprit behind the repricing of real rates, not inflation. So again, this is generally a good sign for the economy, and I thought I'd bring it to your attention. If you have questions about this or anything else, just let us know.